Hello, everybody. Welcome to Goal Line Gossip. This is the Transfer Gossip Show. So, the first topic for today we have is Andre Onana, who's coming to Manchester United, or shall I say, David De Gea, leaving Manchester United after 12 long seasons with the club. So, I'd like to invite our guests into the show. We have a new joining today, Taib. How are you doing? He's a United fan.
Hi, hi. It's great to be here. Hopefully, I can add some nice inputs into this vibrant discussions which you guys have been having since the last, I think, couple of months.
Of course,
So,
yeah.
Okay.
Really
yeah,
great to have you here, mate.
lovely to be here.
Um,
Yeah.
we have Jesh Meister, who's an Arsenal fan. A lot happening in Arsenal as well. Declan Rice, Julian Timber. He looks happy.
Yeah, why not?
We have Aitun Mag. Well, not happening a lot Newcastle wise, but the Saudi Pro League is growing, so I'm guessing he's happy as well. All good.
He starts off shows like this and then he ends it like this. Yeah.
Fair enough, fair enough. And we have Kloppite, was very excited last time we spoke, of course,
Yeah.
because of Sabosle, but not much happening. But
I'm
yeah,
still excited. Yeah, we're getting
yeah,
some players out, getting some players
right,
in for I think next few weeks.
definitely, definitely. So let's start off with Manchester United. I think this is a big news for any Manchester United fan, like all over the world, because it's a goalkeeper. I think it's the most important role in a Manchester United jersey ever, because these are the sort of things that don't happen a lot, like frequently, like for big clubs having like having like a goalkeeper leaving after a long time and then replacing that goalkeeper with someone who's a fresh talent out there. I was actually one of those people, and I'm sure like everybody has seen David De Gea start with the Manchester United jersey on like 12 years back. When he was a little kid, he made a lot of errors. Uh, it
It was the
was a rocky
Blackburn
start.
game, right? Blackburn game, he made his first mistake. I think
A lot
was
of
it?
lot of games, a lot of games actually. Like
I don't know if
when he got this.
Tayyeb will remember.
He
I
made
think
his
it was the
first
first.
mistake on his debut against City in the Community
No,
Shield.
his debut was against Premier League debut was against Arsenal.
Yeah,
Arsenal or
although
Blackburn?
Arsenal, I'm sure.
I remember the Arsenal game. It was that 8-2 game, but
A2.
I'm pretty sure that
But
he
that
made a
wasn't
lot
his
of.
debut. I'm sure.
Premier
Yeah,
League debut it was.
it was
Premier League
probably
debut.
Yeah,
not his debut, but anyways, I think the point here is that he, and this is sort of like a little sad for me as a United fan. When I look at his career for the last 12 years, he started off in a rocky fashion, and he also ended in a rocky fashion as well. In between, those
was it
two
man?
starts and stops, he did have a really good spell. There was a point where he was sort of like
The best goalkeeper in the world. Yes, he was.
Marquez, one of the best goalkeepers
Yeah,
in the world, if not the best, right?
Mhm.
Before that fax machine in United crashed and he didn't go to Real Madrid, whatever that story was. But regardless of his dominance in the Premier League, I think the end to his career was a bit sad. He was not probably respected in the best way possible by Manchester United. There was miscommunication. He was given a contract, and then that contract was taken away. The salary was reduced, and obviously, since this was his final year, he decided that he's going to move on. And also from I think from a fan perspective as well, there was a lot of hate coming in towards De Gea as well. Uh, he although like he did not have the best season in the last season, he still was able to win the Golden Glove. Now I know that keepers generally get it, but a clean sheet is not reflective to only just a keeper. It's the defense, it's how your team is organized. But at the end of the day, I think he probably thought it's the best way to hang his boots in the Premier League and move on. So I'm glad about that he did that. But personally, I did not see it coming. When the season ended, it almost felt like with the rumors coming in that Manchester United, they don't have a lot of money, the club is for sale. I did not think my wildest dream that we'll get a new goalkeeper like De Gea will be leaving. We might have bought a second choice goalkeeper and who would be under his wing, and maybe in the coming seasons they would take the number one jersey. But I was very, very surprised to see that, that De Gea is leaving, and the fact that we are very glad to have someone like Andre Onana as one of the, he was a top target, and he's going to be wearing the number one jersey. So I'm super excited about it. I want to hear your thoughts as well.
Uh,
So
so you're getting some. I think you're selling Dean Henderson as well, right? To
yeah,
Nottingham or
I think that will. The problem with United is all of these deals are sort of like attached to each other. So Dean Henderson at right now is at a situation where he will only be sold once the deal is complete. Onana wears number one jersey, everything is done. Otherwise, I think he's probably looked at, oh, if everything goes into hell, if shit hits the fan, then Dean Henderson can
right,
be the goalkeeper, right? And
right.
which with United is not absolutely ridiculous, because we are not known for making the best deals and doing the best negotiations overall in the transfer market.
But you're getting a lot of money off the table also with De Gea's contract and everything. There's a huge contract. I think Onana won't be. I don't know how much he'll be on, but
Not
not
on
not
Onana is
not
quite
much.
cheaper as compared to. Yeah, I think
Right,
last I read was probably 120 grand a week, which is
right.
like one third of what we were paying
Yes,
there.
right.
So that's a
I got
good
a
Yeah,
deal.
question.
so
I
so
got a
that's why
question.
they can pay the transfer fees. I think they're
Did
getting Dean
Andre
Henderson off and then his wages off. De Gea's.
did Onana ever play against under Eric Ten Hag?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
for Ajax,
He
for
And
was
I
he
Ajax,
was
yeah, he
Eric
did.
Ten Hag's number one at Ajax.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember. Yes.
and that's also like sort of a pattern, like with all the
Mm.
signings that Eric Ten Hag has made, or the players that we've been linked to, most of them they've had some sort of a relationship with either Ajax or Eric Ten Hag or the Dutch league, and which I think he's that sort of manager who trusts in players who have played with him before, or he has an
Mm.
idea of how they play and can integrate
Like Urian Timber. Yes, like Urian Timber.
like Kurian Timber, like Martinez, like Ericsson. I can go on.
Anthony.
So Anthony as well, obviously. So but yeah, so I want to start this conversation off with our new joinee. Dive, tell us
Yeah.
what do you. So let's start with David De Gea. Like I said, I did not see this coming. I didn't know that he would actually leave this season. How do you feel as a United fan? Being one of those people who've seen him from his first game wearing that jersey to probably like the last game that he won the FA Cup, probably.
Okay, so I think in a way I could relate quite a bit with De Gea because I'm like when I play football, I'm a goalkeeper, right? I play in the goalkeeping position. Now, see, I would like to divide my answer into three or four points. Firstly, being that as a United fan, I don't want to sound ungrateful because let's be honest, De Gea has really helped us and really made us not become a laughing stock over the last 6 years, 6 to 7 years when the bad times started. Right, he was the one shining light in our season, and he was the one person who made us be respectable, not go down mid table. So he's been quite integral in that. So I don't want to sound ungrateful, but having said that, I feel that you know football has evolved right over the last 3 to 4 years, especially after seeing how Pep and to a certain extent Klopp, how they've revolutionized the Premier League and the way the teams play football. Right, the football has moved on, and I think David De Gea was a keeper in the past era. He couldn't evolve himself, and he's not a ball playing goalkeeper. And in today's day and age, being a ball playing goalkeeper is very important for the team to pin down the opposition and break the press. So what United needed to do was, I think, to slowly ease him out, which we didn't have an option because we didn't have any other goalkeeper as a backup who could have played the way Eric Ten Hag wanted to play. So we had to ultimately, keep on playing him over the last season. He committed many errors, which probably were very costly. I think the Sevilla game was a disgraceful, performance by him, and also the cup final, which was doubly disappointing because it added it aided City
The
in
second goal,
winning.
yeah.
Yeah, so he could have done much better in those two games. And also another thing is that, see, we were paying him 375 grand a week, and he wasn't giving the performances which merited that salary. So we needed to get rid in that aspect as well. And lastly, having a keeper like Onana, who Eric is very, very much familiar with, and who we all have seen, especially in the Champions League final. What a wonderful way he performed. He may have been on the losing side, but that's the way you want your keeper to perform.
Right.
Literally starting the attacks from the back. So I don't want to sound ungrateful that De Gea has gone, but in a way I'm happy that we are upgrading our style of play and it's finally all starting to come into place. And the way Eric wants his team to play, Onana is going to help us fantastically in that. So I'm excited about that.
I think all United fans like they wanted like a ball playing goalkeeper. They've been crying out for a ball playing goalkeeper, like seeing other teams as well.
Right.
And
And
I've
and
seen as much I've seen Onana, he can basically play a midfielder. Maybe I don't know if he's as good as Edison or not with his feet. I'm not sure. We'll get
He
to know next season.
he's pretty close to Allison and Ederson in terms of.
Allison is being a Liverpool fan. I don't think Allison is as good
I'm
with
saying
his feet
he
compared to him. Yeah,
right now in the Premier League in terms of playing with your feet. His Ederson is a class apart. I get it, but
maybe Onana is as good. I have not seen him as much.
no, he's gone up to that echelon. Where
Yeah.
Ramsdale belongs and Allison belongs, and in terms of ball playing from the back for sure.
right,
Yeah.
right. I think the important question here is, and I agree, like I'm also a United fan, although I did not see this coming. Super excited about having Onana, coming to Manchester United. And we've all seen the Champions League final. So from that, I think we were all impressed by, whatever he did there. The confidence, the character, the charisma, all of that is there. Uh, but I think the important question here is that I get the fact that he fits into the modern play, how people look at it, which is very tactical, which is like building up from the back. But the question is that solely dependent on the goalkeeper? If you look at Manchester United's squad right now, of course Martinez is really good with the build up. He can hold the ball, he can pass. Varane is decent as well. But what about when those two players are not playing and you have someone like a Lindelof or a Harry Maguire, or if you look at the fullbacks, if you have
Yeah.
Diego Dallo or Aaron Wan-Bissaka, my point is the goalkeeper probably like the first piece of the puzzle, or are we saying that with Onana, with someone like Onana playing from the back, we will already see an improvement or maybe a new style of play in the next season? And I'll go to Jishmeister for this because I know I, Ramsdale, right? I think you got him at a very cheap price. He's
Well,
coming,
no, not really. When he came in, most of the
Yeah,
Arsenal
I
fans were like, "He is why we paying 25 million for a goalkeeper?"
but still
who's
the
got
standards that
relegated? Who was relegated?
but
Yeah,
the standards that he has shown, like in the Premier League in the past season, I think there's going to be a very high like level of expectation from anybody watching football or the Premier League like next season from Ramsdale. So like, what do you think? Like, I think Arteta. Uh, he did change his tactics quite a bit in the last season based on how they're playing, what players he has in his disposal. But then what we have seen clearly is when he's playing his full team with Zinchenko and when Saliba is there, they do tend to build up from the back and rotate the ball and resist the press. So do you think from a Manchester United point of view, getting someone like Onana, they can replicate that right off the bat from the next season? Or is it sort of like, they'll probably have to build it up slowly, get some more players in or change the tactics, and we'll probably see it in the next couple of seasons and not right away?
So, Saul, what I would say to that is, first of all, the way Arsenal has been playing, I would say decently or moderately well. It's not just last season, the season before as well. I get it that we finished fifth, but it was the first three games where we lost against Chelsea, Brentford, where we had a lot of players missing through COVID and stuff like that, and
City.
City and Manchester City. So that kind of had an impact on the rest of the season, but were expected to finish top four, except for the collapse at the very end where we kind of came fifth. We get it, but there was a stark difference in the tactical gameplay of um, the season prior and last season. It was basically we were playing more of counter-attacking football in the season where we did not have Jason Zinchenko, 22-23. Sorry, 21-22. So what Ramsdale was doing was he was pinging long balls out to Saka's and Martinelli's, more specifically to Martinelli, who would sprint up and down, and even sometimes to Emil Smith Rowe, going from a deeper spot. However, this last season we started dominating possession, and Ramsdale was now pinging in balls to the fullbacks more. He did a few of those long balls as well, but he didn't have the opportunity because we were already playing a high line, so it was not really necessary to ping in. It was not counter attacking football. Now bringing that comparison to United setup, last season United was very reminiscent of Arsenal from 21-22, playing mostly on the counter attack and with Rashford and Anthony. It was a lot of fast transition from the back to the front, and that was because of lack of ball playing midfielders and people who can control the ball in the middle of the park. So to answer your question, will United transition into playing
Possession based team.
possession-based football or not? That will truly depend on who you get in the midfield. That there's going to be a huge, and even on the forward spaces, the kind of striker who can actually hold up the ball, bring other wingers into play, bring in your midfielders who are joining the attack into play. That will have a huge impact. Your fullbacks, you have way too many weaknesses right now as it stands for me to tell you that you play possession heavy football under the Eric Ten Hag system. I don't think Wan Bissaka is a good fit for that. Dallo is a good fit, in terms of interchanging, passes and things like that. He is good on the ball. He has defensive frailties. On the left back, Luke Shaw can definitely play the role. Martinez can play the role. Varane can to a certain level, to a certain extent. Did you guys buy a midfielder yet? No, right?
Mount.
Yeah, we got Mason Mount.
Yeah, so Mason Mount can play that football, that style of play. Casemiro perhaps as well. He's good in. He's not actually his Real Madrid team was also at their devastating best at counter attacks. It was not really possession based football. Typically, the kind of football that you would associate um, with somebody like, let's say, Manchester City or Liverpool or currently Arsenal, right? So there's a few players that I think the striker role has to be addressed. I don't think Rashford is the best with the ball at his feet either. Anthony, perhaps not, but there's a few gaping holes. You don't need everybody to be good on the ball. No, you don't need it. Absolutely not. But you need at least 5 or 6 to 7 players on the pitch on a regular basis that can have those the abilities to turn in the center of the park, or be able to keep hold of the ball, or touch and turn so that the other player. This changes the entire gameplay. Andre Onana is a major cog to that system. Hopefully, you guys can get some more players to play that role. If not, then you guys are probably still going to play the older counter-attacking system, but with a more devastating effect, with your goalkeeper pinging balls to Rashfords and Anthony's and other players making that run.
So yeah, Onana, I think is like a huge upgrade on what they have. Like, yeah, you need good fullbacks, I feel, but midfield I think is good. They have good ball controllers and everything. So I was just gonna add to this, like Vishnu was saying, like they don't have like good fullbacks, not good enough midfielders who can control the ball in the midfield. But I think they do. They have enough. Bruno Fernandes, Casemiro. Casemiro is a very good ball playing midfielder as much as I've seen, and that's my opinion. I don't know about United fans, but and Mount of course. But fullbacks is probably an issue. I think fullback because often you'll see with Edison and Allison and Ramsdale and other ball playing goalkeepers, they try to pick out the fullbacks in the wide areas. So the fullbacks are far advanced and they try to pick them up. So someone of them need to be very good on the ball, like one touch control and pass it along. So I think United do need another fullback for the system, but it will also help them. Like if Onana is like a sweeper keeper, Onana is a sweeper keeper kind of player. This will help United to like press from the front so that they can short the distance between the midfield and the defense, and the whole team goes in front and start the like what Klopp does actually, like counter press, what Pep does. Like so, the counter press system will be very effective with Onana, and which wasn't with De Gea, I think, because he was little towards his goal and standing on the goal line more often. So yeah, it's a one step forward, and it'll continue to build. I think slowly adding the pieces to the puzzle. I guess for Ten Hag, I'm sure he's got to figure it out. So yeah, it's a huge
I
upgrade.
think
It's a huge
when you
upgrade.
guys talk about, I think when you guys talk about fullbacks, it's more to do with the right back, because left back is
Mm.
sorted for us, because Luke Shaw is probably one of the most underrated and one of the most intelligent left backs in the Premier League. He's really good on the ball. He drives the ball forward. He can dribble it from the midfield right into the opposition half. So I think he's a fantastic
Yeah,
left
yeah.
back. So I think we should go with left back.
Luke Shaw is good. But like I don't know about Tyler Malaysia. He's good.
Yeah,
He's
he's
good
okay.
defensively. But not
And
maybe
another
suited
thing
for
is that
system.
Onana is more of a proactive goalkeeper, right? De Gea was reactive. De Gea would
Hmm.
look for opportunities to save the ball, whereas Onana is going to look for opportunities to, close out the attack.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think that's the major difference between the both of them.
Right, right. No, I completely agree with actually all of you in the way you put it. I don't think it's going to be a radical change, though. I don't think next season is going to be a better season than this season in terms of the amount of goals we concede, or like right off the bat, if you look at just pure stats, I think we will concede maybe some goals like that De Gea or someone like that stopped, because I'm not really sure about his shot stopping ability. And again, like we have to understand that this is a number one jersey, a number one Manchester United jersey, which you don't get to see often, right? Like you had Peter Schmeichel, then you had Edwin van der Sar, you had David De Gea, and now it's Andre Onana. But in between these four goalkeepers, there was so many. I mean, obviously, there's not going to be anyone. Hopefully, there won't be anyone between De Gea and Onana, and
There's
we
only
hope that
that guy Tim Howard, right? Tim Howard used to wear
Tim
number 1.
Howard. We also had Victor Valdez. I don't know if you guys remember.
Yeah,
Like,
Oh yes. Oh shit, I forgot.
we had
so
Barthez, we had
we had
Barthez, we had
Barthez. We
Bartes
I
had
was
think we had
good,
Roy Carroll as well. Roy
Romero.
Carroll.
Can we have Romero, the Argentine
Yeah.
goalkeeper as
but he
well?
was now not number 1. He was not wearing the number
Yeah,
1.
Valdez was not number one as well, but he was there. So we've done our bit on like signing a lot of goalkeepers and trying them out and them not working. There was that guy as well. He's got a Ben Foster. Ben Foster was there as well, right? At some point. So yeah,
But
I,
there were
I
also
think my
fringe goalkeepers. I think fringe
yeah,
goalkeepers who came when other
yeah,
goalkeepers
and
were
my
injured.
and my and my point is generally like over the past 20 years, if we look at United, the transition from a main goalkeeper to another, like passing on the baton, that has not been smooth, and it's almost been like transitive, where in between you've tested out
It's
few
it's
second goalkeepers.
it's been for most teams actually. Like if you see Liverpool,
Exactly.
Arsenal,
So so
goalkeeper is a hard spot to fill.
absolutely, and that's why I think that I hope that this transition will be smoother than the previous ones, but I do uh, like sort of predict that it's not going to be an easy ride. It's going to be bumpy because you mentioned the fullbacks most probably, like the right back, because Luke Shaw is fine. I am more worried about Casemiro. I love the guy, and he's probably one of the best CDMs in the Premier League right now. But at the same time, I think his forte lies more on tackling or you know connecting players, forward players, pinging those balls. But when it comes to resisting press, I've seen him give away the ball so many times, and I don't think that's his main quality. And I know we talked about how Martinez and Varane, they can obviously help in bringing that change with Onana, but I'm very interested to see how Casemiro does it as well, because He's in his 30s. He's probably like he's going to play a couple more years or maybe three tops
I think
in the
he's
high.
world class. He can do it. I think he can adapt
Yeah,
and
he
do
can,
it.
of course he can do it,
He's
but I've
world
seen him
class.
like 6 times out of 10 he's going to get it right, but 4 times he doesn't. That's what I've seen in the previous season. Uh, in Real Madrid, I think they see Real Madrid is a weird one because if you look at
The league is
their
not a
setup,
high pressing league. The league is not a
also
high pressing league.
also the way they play, it's very counter attack oriented, right? If you look at what was the name of their goalkeeper, the monster,
Courtois.
Courtois.
Courtois, I think he's probably an improved version on De Gea. Great shot stopper, but when it comes to ball playing or distributing the ball or being a sweeper keeper, he's not that kind, right? So he worked in that system very well. Obviously, wearing a Real Madrid shirt, but not really sure how it's going to translate towards the next season with Manchester United. But yeah, it's all exciting stuff. I think the goalkeeper is something which will transform the team eventually. And that's the thing about Manchester United, we've done so many short-term transfers, like over the course of like 5-7 years, getting Cavani, getting Falcao, getting Ronaldo, uh, which are like short term like solutions. Like you bring in these players to get a result, and that season or the season after that, we've not really invested in long-term solutions. I mean, of course, some of the short-term stuff has worked. Robin van Persie, right? We won the Premier League just because of him. uh, but we've made a lot of mistakes in signing these players as well, who are probably not the best choices. Getting Zlatan in as well, love the guy, but I mean, what the hell, right? But Onana seems different, and that is probably the most exciting thing, like sort of the silver lining that I relate to, that finally Manchester United is looking at this from a point of view of a long-term fix. And I hope that Eric Ten Hag was the main person who orchestrated this. I hope it's his philosophy. He's the one who's pushing the board to insist on investing in the future rather than making these fringe deals, which I still think we'll do in this season. So that's like the positive thing that I would like to say about Onana. But going into like Aitun again, I think Newcastle, uh, you were the runners up in clean sheets, right? And you had a very good season from a point of view of being
Nick
able
Pope.
to. Nick Pope, yeah, Nick Pope was brilliant, and you guys, I think defensively you guys were really good. So I want to ask you, like, from a Manchester United point of view, do you think that being a United fan, it's fair of me to probably be a little like not scared, but be a little like concerned about letting some goals in, which would probably not happen if the hair was there, just from a point of view of being a better shot stopper. Do you think that that will happen, or do you think we'll defensively be more strong in the next season?
I'll ask your, I mean, I'll answer your question later, but first I'll start off with one statement. Like the way we started this conversation, that is something I'm not really liked because I don't want to remember Dagia by the mistakes he did for last couple of seasons. So we started the conversation like what was his first mistake and something sort of that, right? Again, Blackburn Rovers or something. Uh, I remember right after the season Farki left, it came probably David Moyes, right? Mose. Yeah. So that season, I remember single-handedly, Dagia probably gave Manu around 12 to 14 points single-handedly. So I just wanted to say that Dagia was a time in 2014, 15, 16. He was phenomenal. He was probably world's top three goalkeeper alongside Neuer. Uh, Now the point is we are evaluating De Gea on the basis of last couple of seasons, where this sweeper keeper concept or the ball playing goalkeeper concept came probably last 3-4 seasons, not before that, if I'm correct. So yes, I mean there I believe De Gea has a limitation where Onana is certainly an upgrade over the year, but from so I mean player who can stop a shot incredibly with incredibly reflex. I believe Onana somewhat lacking, probably marginally, but still I think Deke is better as a shot stopper goalkeeper. And apart from that, if you look, if you talk about the shot stopping ability or the ball passing, if you compare both, who De Gea going to distribute the ball in last 2 3 seasons? Is it Phil Jones? Is it Fred, McTominay, Van de Beek? Who? You have to have a player who can take the ball, do something positive way. The way Manu has the midfield or in the wing side, I don't see. Even if they had the Ederson in their in the penalty box, I don't see the ball playing way. It's not gonna work for Manu. So that time, De Gea was the probably the best option for Manchester United. And right now, yes, football is evolving. The transition need to have, and I believe from the previous season, we have seen Ten Hag is going for a counter attack where he wants the ball to be played from the back, and you have brought the few good defenders like Martinez, Varane. Then you brought Casemiro. Casemiro is great with the ball. So yes, I mean I think if you think about the ball playing way, they are covered certainly, but shot stopping ability. See the Syria League or French League or even any other league except from Bundesliga. Bundesliga, I know it's more of a counter attack based football play. So I believe we can really tested Onana here. And though in Champions League final, we see the glimpse of Onana, how he played against Man City. It was really well. It was incredible. He was much better than Ederson in that way he played. So I believe it's a good transition. It's a good movement. But I don't want to, you know, see Dagia living and remembering him on the mistakes he did. Rather, I want to see him the number of times Dagia, helped Manu to regain the points on that basis.
Right, right. No, absolutely. I think Ty mentioned as well that he single-handedly like saved. I would say he saved 2 or 3 seasons for us, or
Yeah,
else it would have been absolutely embarrassing as a Manchester. I mean, they were. I remember this match against Arsenal and Tottenham where he made like 15 or 17 or 18 saves like in a single match, and we were
single
all
match.
amazed, and we won the match with what, like one goal or maybe a couple or something like that. And there's been so many results like that, right? uh, but yeah, I
Exactly. I
mean,
mean, you have won the match probably 1 goal or 2-1, but if not that, yeah, you probably lost the match in a 4-1 or 5-1 or
yep,
3-1.
right, absolutely. And but what do you think about Nana, like from a point of view of next season? Do you think that United will be stable with a new goalkeeper based on his capabilities, or do you think it's going to be a learning curve where it's not
Of
just
course, it will
him,
be.
it's the
Of course,
style?
it will be a. Of course, it will be a learning curve. It's a Premier League. Come on. I mean, it's not that he's going to, Syria League to Dutch League or French League to German League. It's not that. He's coming to the best league in the world. So, of course, there has to be a, learning curve. And I believe we will see some mistakes from his side because, there will be matches. I mean, you see, in Syria, how many top matches or rival matches you see probably 3 4 here you if you take Aston Villa, Britain and Newcastle who are pushing towards their in the being the top team, you see 8 9 top matches. Not 8 9, it will be 16 17. I mean, if you take the both home and away match. So yeah, I mean, competitive by competition, it will be huge for him to learn and to grow. But yes, I think Manu fans need to be more patient with Onana, and I believe Onana is will be a good choice. I mean, we could see Onana again be a next David De Gea, playing for 10 12 years for Manu. Then maybe we can
How
evaluate
old is he?
him on the basis of, I think, 25. Onana, how old is
No, no, Onana is 27.
he? 27.
So
Ah, then
maybe
7 7 years.
six
7 years,
5 years,
6 to 7
6
years.
years.
But he's a goalkeeper. Like Van der Sar, I
Yeah.
think he was there till he was 42 or 43 or something like that. So I don't think that's an issue. As long as he's fit, doesn't get a lot of injuries, I think it's gonna be fine. But yeah, I really hope that it
He's a
happens. I
confident
mean,
goalkeeper, but he's a confident goalkeeper. I think
yep,
Yeah, he's.
yep. And
he's
it's
very
also
confident.
like it's not that simple for Manchester United because I don't know who's our number two going to be because I'm very certain
Who is
that if
that? Tom
our
Heaton, right?
Tom Heaton and he's
No. So apparently we are in talks with a Japanese
Oh
young
yeah,
prospect,
Suzuki. Yeah, Suzuki.
Suzuki or something.
and
Right.
they call him the next Onana. So I think this is going to be very interesting. I think once he comes, we're going to let Dean Henderson and Tom Heaton go. So I think it's going to be Onana number one and this Suzuki guy number two. But it's all
I don't
speculation.
think
I don't know what's going to
I,
happen.
I don't think they're going to let Tom Heaton go because United have
Right.
always preferred like three goalkeepers for some
Yeah,
reason,
yeah,
and Tom
they'll
Heaton
probably
seems
keep
like
him.
the third goalkeeper for life because I think there
But
was
he's not bad. He's good. He's decent. He's decent
oh
for a
yeah, of
third
course. I
goalie.
mean, for a third goalkeeper, he's really good. But he was interested in Luton. I'm not sure whether it was Luton or something, but it was one of the promoted clubs, and United, I think they agreed to not sell him this season, and that just goes to show that he'll be here. Uh, but yeah, I mean, I don't know about the Suzuki guy, to be honest. The new Onana, but hopefully he's
Yeah,
good.
he'll be under the fellowship of Onana, I guess. So
Who is starting
that
off. So I'm really nervous about the setup. You're getting a new goalkeeper, then you're getting a second goalkeeper who's going to learn from your first
so
goalkeeper while
maybe
he's
Onana will have some mistake like when Allison also came in, Edison came in, they were like trying fancy tricks on the ball
right,
and
right,
like
right.
Pep and Klopp were like, don't fuck this man, don't do this. This is the Premier League, you cannot do shit like that. So I think
Yeah,
Onana will
Yeah.
also have to, control his game.
And
He's
also,
very
I
confident.
feel since it's the Premier League, right, which is the most
Mhm.
high-profile league in the world. So every small mistake is going to be
Yeah, yeah.
highlighted and going to be blown out of proportion.
Oh yeah,
And also with Manchester United, right, there's an extra level of attention which it
Especially
gathers.
after De Gea leaving and the way he left. So
Yeah,
yep,
yeah, one
I
mistake
think
and media is on him.
we have
yeah,
to
yeah,
be patient. We have to give some time. So we have to accept some mistakes, right? Because that's how you grow. That's how you learn. So let's hope for the best.
yeah.
Thank you for watching that video. We are a community of passionate football fans and we post weekly videos on transfer news, match reactions, tactical analysis, and sometimes just gossip on the most exciting sport in the world. If that's what you like to hear, then hit that subscribe button and join the conversation with us.